Hey everybody, just a quick announcement before today's video. There is now a new Patreon-exclusive anthology short available over on our Patreon, The Fourth Canticle, starring Tim Parker. Available at Wanderer tier and above. You can find it linked below in the description and the pinned comment. Please do check it out if you're able, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you all for watching. Following the disastrous expedition that would later be known as the start of the Great Merician exile, Keeper's Dance fleet yards were left with a destroyed reputation, now carrying the blame for the apparent loss of an entire expedition fleet, coupled with the Centrum Assembly's general cultural distrust for corporations that has endured since the Abyssinian Commerce War. The sanctions suffered by KDFY were extreme. The corporation lost its exclusive contract for the construction of drift gates, with that responsibility later passing to Grathan Gateworks, and were required by the state to pay significant reparations for their negligence. Among these reparations was a mandate that obligated KDFY to dismantle the drift gate that had launched the ill-fated expedition, in the barren system that would later be known as Meric's Keep, as further expansion into northeastern Tantalus had been placed on indefinite hold. All salvage produced by this gate-breaking operation was owed to the Centrum Assembly, and as such KDFY, standing to gain nothing themselves, approached this forced responsibility as unenthusiastically as possible. An impractically small contingent of gate-breaking engineers were tasked to the project, with an understanding that their purpose was to do little more than look busy, so that KDFY could at least be perceived to be fulfilling their government mandate. As a result, the dismantling dragged on for more than 150 years, with about 40% of the gate still intact by 200 PCU, and the Assembly showing little interest in reprimanding KDFY for their lethargy, as they were now reaping the benefits of a long-standing and prosperous contract with the corporation to construct warships for the Centran Defense Force. Resultantly, when the Merician freehold finally escaped their exile and revealed themselves to the rest of Tantalus in 210 PCU, their first ships to appear, arriving from Mericia by single-gate transit, found themselves confronted with the very driftgate that had almost doomed them, still largely standing after a century and a half. In a display of historic irony, it was now clearly necessary to establish a drift lane back to Mericia, to allow these Merician scouts to return home, and for the rest of the Merician people to be connected to the cluster at large. And it was quickly decided that the cheapest way to achieve this was to simply reverse the disassembly process of the very same gate. Within 3 months, using a much larger workforce, the drift gate was fully rebuilt and made operational again. This rapid reassembly process caused an enormous spike in the market price of drift, due to the colossal amount consumed in such a short time. A crisis that the Mericians, hailing from a system abundant in drift, found themselves uniquely qualified to resolve. In return for a lucrative trade deal that rescued the Assembly from its drift shortage, and in a final irony, the Merician freehold purchased not only the rebuilt drift gate to Mericia, but the entire solar system in which it was placed, ensconcing the gate in an asteroid which was developed into the city of Meric's Keep, for which the system was named. This vast port city became the gateway to the freehold, and its primary avenue of interaction with the rest of the cluster. In the following decade, the Merician freehold, through savvy negotiations and the mastery of spaceborne life learned from their many years in exile, became a mercantile superpower, whose influence held much of the Tantalus cluster's economy together.